down there in Pigeon Forge actually getting some time of rest, and I know that time of rest is needed. You guys know how hard he goes all the time, so they're taking a little weekend vacation. They're not here, but we're still excited. One of the things I've learned with Cornerstone is, how many of you have figured out by now that you never judge the Sunday morning crowd by who's here at 10:45? We gotta wait till at least 11:15, so I know more people are going to be coming in here, but we're going to go ahead and get service started. If you guys will stand up, we're going to open up in prayer and go right into worship. So let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you, God, for just simply who you are. God, I pray today a special prayer for Pastor Barry and Elisa as they're away, God, getting some time together and some time to relax and rest and recharge. God, I pray that you would be with them. I pray for safety as they come home later today. God, I pray that you would just continue to pour out your blessings on them, God. I pray for today's service, God, that you would be with us today. I pray for every person that's here, God, that they would just get whatever they need from you, God. We don't all need the same thing, God. Some of us need salvation, some need repentance, some need cleansing, some just need a fresh fire, God. And I pray today that you would be to every single person what they individually need, God. You are the God of the one. You left the 99 for the one, God. And I pray today that you would be the God for the one in every single person's life, God. Whatever we come into this place needing, God, that you would supply today, God. I pray for the worship this morning, God. I pray that you would anoint every song, every instrument, everything that's done, God. Let it be done to lift up the name of Jesus, because that's why we're here, God. I pray that we wouldn't try to do anything of our own will or of our own power, God, but that we would stand behind the cross and hide behind your word this morning, God, and that we would just do everything to bring you glory, God. I pray for the message this morning as you allow me another opportunity to share, God. I pray that you would give me the words, God, that we need. I pray that people would come to know you better today, God. I pray that we would hear this word exactly the way that you gave it to me, God, that we would hear and believe that our breakthrough is on the way today, God. I pray that you would be in the service today, God. Let your Holy Spirit invade right now from the very beginning, God, before a single word is ever sung, God. I pray that you would be in this place, God. I pray today for just an atmosphere of worship, God, just an atmosphere of thanksgiving, God, that we would lift our hands and say, thank you, Jesus, for what you've done in my life, the things that I didn't deserve, the things that I could never earn, the things that I could never repay, God. But let's take some time today to just simply say thank you for what you've done for us, God. And I pray today as we sing that would be our spirit of worship, God, just a spirit of thanksgiving, a spirit of praise, a spirit of worship to a King that's above every other king, a name that's above every other name, and that is you, Jesus, God. Today we do everything we do to give you praise, God, to lift up your name, to give you honor and glory, God. We love you. We thank you, God, for what you're going to do in this service today. We give you all the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Stay together in your name, calling out to Aren't you thankful for the love of God? Without the love of God, where would we be? Where would we be? Without His grace, without His comfort, without His peace, without His forgiveness, where would we be? And that song said, it's my joy to honor you. How many of you know the joy of the Lord is where your strength comes from? How many of you know that a smile will do wonders for not only you, but for the neighbors, for the people next to you? Charlie's going to sing a song now that just says, my fear, it doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love.
every Sunday, and I would never get tired of it, because it's true. He's always been faithful. In every situation I look back on my life, He's always been there. At the times when maybe there was nobody else I could count on, when stuff was going on in my life, when stuff was going on in my parents' marriage, when stuff was going on in school, when stuff was going on everywhere, and there was no one else I could turn to. He's always been faithful. And He always will be. It's a great song. We're going to go ahead and take up our morning offering. I'm not sure what the plates are. Mary knows this. They're right here. Scott's going to bring them up. Maybe if we can get Jeffrey and CJ to take up the offering. This morning, obviously, I always love, when I get a chance to preach. And Barry called me Friday. Actually, he texted. He didn't even give me the courtesy of a phone call. He texted me, and he said, yeah, last minute one. He said, hey, tomorrow is Elisa's birthday. I think we're going to go out of town. Would you care to preach Sunday? And so, obviously, I said, yes, I would love to, because I always love to get the chance, but also love some time to prepare, if I'm being honest as well. But I was super excited, and I started thinking about what can I preach about, and I thought about, well, what's going on in my life right now? And obviously there's something pretty significant going on if you somehow have been tuned out for the last month and a half. Courtney and me, we found out that we are having a baby in September. Yeah, we are super pumped. Super pumped. And Courtney may not admit this yet, and maybe it's just because she's holding out and hoping it's a girl, but I've definitely spent more money on the baby so far than Courtney has. Like, I bought shoes and a bunch of Florida Gator stuff and loading it down. It's got a Florida Gators hoodie that it will wear this fall, boy or girl, it doesn't matter. It's going to wear the hoodie. It's for infants, a hoodie for infants. Like, who even knew that was a thing? But we are super excited, and I started thinking about what all goes on in the womb. And I started thinking about how in our lives, there's a lot of stuff that can relate and that is very similar to the process that happens in the womb. And so we went on Thursday and we got to see the 12-week ultrasound. It was our second one. And so obviously the first one at 8 weeks was exciting. It was the first time ever, and the first time we had seen the baby, and we got to hear the heartbeat. And this lady doing the ultrasound had probably done like 700 ultrasounds that day. So to her, she was just like, there's the heartbeat, here's the baby. And we're like, what? Like, show us again. Don't go so fast, But we were super amazed. But this time, it actually sort of looked a little bit more like a baby. You could see face, and you could see hands and legs and arms. And it was the craziest thing in the world. But again, I began to think about all the things that happen in the womb. And the process from conception to delivery, and all the changes that happen without us ever seeing any of them really on the outside, all the changes that go on inside of the womb. And I think that there's some stuff biblically and spiritually that we can apply to our lives about that same idea of in the womb and the growth that can happen from start to finish in something. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, is this idea of in the womb. In the womb. And I'm going to a scripture that, if I'm being honest with you, I've never really tuned into that much before I started studying, but I was reading through some of the minor prophets, and I stumbled upon, if I'm being honest with you, the book of Habakkuk. Okay, Habakkuk. If you don't know where it's at, it's right after Nahum and right before Zephaniah. Or if you want to do what I did, go to the table of contents in your Bible, and that's the way you can find it. It's at the front. It's a page and a half long in my Bible. So if you flip one too many, you're going to miss it. But the book of Habakkuk is where I want to preach out of this morning. And it's a book that, like I said, I by no means consider myself an expert in it. But I was reading through and I was studying, and it's only 3 chapters, so we're pretty much going to hit a bulk of it today. But I was reading through it and studying it, and I began to see some of the things in Habakkuk's life that can apply to this idea of in the womb. In the womb. And so I started thinking about what all goes on in the womb, and I want to get into it later today. But I want to break down and give you guys some background of this book. Because if you're like me, it's not like a Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John that we read 12 times a year. Okay, this is a book that we don't go to probably that much, unless you're on some kind of daily reading plan that takes you there. But as I was reading through and I did some studying on it, what I discovered is just some general background information. Habakkuk was a prophet in the land of Judah. He was a prophet in the land of Judah. That's what he did. He went around prophesying from temple to temple, place to place, telling people what God was going to do in their temple, what God was going to do in their life, what God was going to do in their city. That was his job. He was a prophet of the country of Judah. That is what he did. And so in the very first chapter, in starting off right from the beginning, verse 2, Habakkuk begins, the book starts off with him starting off by complaining to God. It's a man complaining to God. Some of you already can relate to the message. I can sit down and be done right there. He was a man complaining to God about his situation. How many of us have ever, if you guys can not raise your hands and act like you're the perfect people in the world, but I will raise my hand and say, sometimes I complain to God and say, God, why? Why is this going on in my life? Why is this situation happening to me? Why is this happening? He doesn't understand why God's not listening or answering to him. This whole book is Habakkuk complaining, God responding. Habakkuk complaining again, God responding again. But I want to take you through his first complaint, which is in verses 2 through 4 of chapter 1. So Habakkuk 1, verses 2 through 4 says, How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you, violence, violence, which you do not save? Why do you make me look at this injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are all around me. There is strife and conflict abounds. How many of your lives feel like that sometimes? Why do you make me look at this? Destruction and violence are all around me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore, verse 4, the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous so that justice is perverted. Habakkuk starts off this chapter by complaining to God and saying, hey, how long am I going to have to cry out before you answer me? How long am I going to have to plead with you? You see what's going on. You see the violence. You see the conflict happening in my country. Where are you? And again, you guys can act like you're the greatest Christians in the world, but if I'm being honest, I've said that before too. God, where are you? Where are you in this situation? I know that you see it. I know that you see the bad things that are going on. I know you see the hurt that my family's going through. I know you see the pain that is happening. God, where are you? That's essentially what he's saying. Where are you, God? Where are you? And maybe some of your lives today, that's exactly where you are. God, where are you? You see my struggles. You see my hurts. You see my pains. God, where are you? That's his complaint. And then in verse 5, God responds. The Lord says, look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe even if you were told. Habakkuk's complaining. Don't you love when you go complaining to God and God responds with, just wait and see what I'm going to do. Just wait. Just watch. Just sit back and watch. And you're like, no, I want you to answer right now. I want an answer. I want to know what is going on. This is where Habakkuk is. He's complaining. He's crying out, God, where are you? And the Lord responds, I'm going to do something someday, and you wouldn't even believe it even if I told you now. Amen. And Habakkuk is probably saying, well, that's great, God, but I want you to do something today. Yeah. I want my life to be changed today. I want this situation to be changed today. And so today I just want to preach a message that, like I said, is extremely relevant to me, talking about in the womb. Obviously, we found this out. We're super pumped. And the day that Courtney first told me, obviously that's one of those things I'll never forget. It was February 1st. And so she told me that day, it was a Friday. She said, hey, you have a late birthday present coming in. Because my birthday's on January 29th. And so Courtney is really smart in a lot of ways, but in one way that she's not so smart. She uses my Amazon account to buy my birthday gifts. So I knew what it was. It was actually this shirt. This shirt was coming in. It was coming in late. I didn't even realize I was going to wear it. But this shirt was the one. And so I was like, I was going to be excited, but I knew what it was because I got the shipping email to my email. And so she's like, you've got a birthday present coming. I was like, yay, I can't wait to see what it is. I know exactly what it is. And so she gets home. She says, I got to stop by Target and get a gift bag to put it in. And I'm like, Courtney, it's literally a shirt. I know what it is. Just give it to me. And so she stops at Target. She comes home and she has a little gift bag. And I'm thinking, like, all right, this is that shirt that I got the email about. I'm going to act excited, but, like, I know what it's a shirt. It's like when you get older, your birthday presents get lamer and lamer the older you get, And so I open up the gift bag. And in there is a Florida Gators onesie, perfect way to do it, a Gators onesie, and the pregnancy test. And I was like, this is not the t-shirt I saw the shipping email. This is not it. But it was completely different from the t-shirt that I was expecting. But it was the craziest idea. It was the craziest thing to me, that somehow, some way, God chose us to get to be parents to this kid and without ever doing anything to deserve it or earn it. He blessed us with that opportunity, and we are so excited. But this idea in the womb. In the womb. Right now, the baby is in the womb. That's where it is. And when we went and saw it, it was, let there be light. Hallelujah. When we went and saw it, the baby, Courtney can't feel it yet, but it's moving around and swimming around and kicking around and everything. And it was the craziest thing. So we see in the first chapter of Habakkuk here that it's a complaint and then God's response. God responds to him. And what I really want to center in on and focus in on, though, is the Lord's second response. So Habakkuk complains, where are you? Why are you not here? You see the violence. The Lord responds. And then Habakkuk goes right back to complaining again. He starts complaining again in verse 13. He says, Your eyes are too pure to look on evil. He's talking to God. You cannot tolerate wrongdoing. Why then do you tolerate the treacherous? Why are you silent while the wicked swallow up those more righteous than themselves? Again, he's saying, God, I know that you're holy. I know that you're sovereign. I know that you're King of kings. I know that you're Lord of lords. But where are you? Where are you right now? Why are you letting these people get away with doing this to your people? Where are you, God? And God goes on to respond in chapter 2 and verses 2 and 3, the second time. Chapter 2, verses 2 and 3. It says, Then the Lord replied, Write down the revelation and make it plain on the tablets, so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come, and it will not delay. Verse 3 again, For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It certainly will come, and it will not delay. Let's pray really quick. Dear God, thank you for this time of worship this morning. Thank you for who you are. God, I pray today with this message, God, that your Spirit would just flow right through me. God, I pray that every word that I say would be words that come straight from you. God, I pray that I'm nothing more than a vessel. And God, I pray that this message would go out and not return void, just like your word says. God, I pray that it would touch hearts, we would apply to our lives, God. God, we would go out knowing and being encouraged, God, that our breakthrough is on the way today. God, we love you and we praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So getting into this message, the beef of the message here, what I want to tell you guys is that somebody needs to hear today that your breakthrough is in the womb. It is on the way. Some of you didn't get it, but your breakthrough is in the womb. It's already growing. God is already working it. He is already moving. Just like that baby is already swimming around and Courtney can't feel it yet, your breakthrough is in the womb. It is on the way. Amen. Your breakthrough is on the way. So what if I told you that your breakthrough was coming? It was in the womb. And just because you can't feel it doesn't mean that God's not doing it yet. Just because you don't see the results yet doesn't mean that God isn't already starting a good work. So Habakkuk is crying out and he's saying, God, where are you? Where are you? And little does he know that God is already beginning to work in this situation. Sometimes in our lives, we're crying out, God, where are you? When are you going to step in? When are you going to provide? When are you going to heal? When are you going to touch? When are you going to save? And we can't see it yet, but God is already beginning to work. Just like we can't see the baby yet, it is already beginning to grow. I downloaded the pregnancy app along with Courtney. I have 2 of them. And I read it every Sunday is when she changes weeks. And so today she's 13 weeks. And I read it this morning. The baby is about the size of a lemon. It's starting to grow fingernails and vocal cords. So it's singing up here with me on Sunday mornings now. But it's the craziest thing to think about in the world. But just because we can't see it yet doesn't mean that God's not already doing it. So I want to talk to you guys today and give you just 3 quick things to take away from Habakkuk's story here and what he goes through, because he's crying out, God, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And the Lord keeps responding, just wait. Just wait. Just wait. And that brings me to my first point, is that just because you want it doesn't mean that it's ready for you. Just because you want it doesn't mean that it's ready for you. So say this, say, just because I want it doesn't mean it's ready for me. Just because I want it doesn't mean it's ready for me. Now, how crazy would it be if, obviously today, me and Courtney and probably everybody else in here would be ecstatic if we found out that we could have the baby today? That'd be great. We would be pumped. We would be so excited if we were to find out today's the day you're going to have the baby. But it's not ready yet. The baby's not ready yet. And in the same way, some of you are pleading for your breakthrough, and God is trying to tell you it's not ready yet. You're not ready yet. As bad as you want it, as bad as we would love to see this baby today, it's not ready. There's a process that it has to go through in the womb. When it's in the womb, it's getting stronger. It's getting bigger. It's able to sustain life on its own. Whereas right now, it cannot. It can't. Courtney has to do that for the baby right now. You can't do it on its own yet. And in the same way, some of us are crying out saying, God, I want my breakthrough. I want my breakthrough. Habakkuk clearly is crying out, God, where are you? Step in. I need my breakthrough. And some of you have been crying the same thing. And God is saying, it's not time yet. It's not time. Habakkuk would have loved if God would have said, all right, since you prayed, here's the answer. It's over. There you go. But how many of you know that God, he seems to never work that way, right? I've learned that already. He can never he does it, but most of the time it's like, just wait for it. Just wait. Just wait. And that's what he tells him here. He says, just wait. So just because we want our breakthrough doesn't mean that it's ready for us yet. Or maybe on the flip side, just because we want our breakthrough doesn't mean that God is ready for us to have it just yet. Because how many of you know that sometimes when we get our breakthrough, our desperation goes away? Sometimes when God answers our prayer, we stop praying until we need Him again. Sometimes when God provides that bill, we quit thanking Him until we need another bill provided again. And so God is saying, yeah, I know you want your breakthrough, but before I give it to you, there's a process you've got to go through. Just because you want it doesn't mean that it's ready for you. Just because you want it doesn't mean that you are ready to have it. Habakkuk would have loved this. But God said, keep waiting. Verse 5, what does it say in chapter 1? I'm going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. And again, I can just imagine Habakkuk like, God, that's great. I can't wait to see revival pour out on the nations. But can you answer my prayer today? You know, like, can you answer mine? And don't you love when you pray for something and God says, you're not going to believe what I'm going to do for you in 5 years. And you're like, God, I can't wait. But can you do something for me in 5 minutes? I need this one answered right now. And that's where Habakkuk was. He's saying, God, why are you letting this happen? Why are you letting this go on? And it's something that I've learned in life is that if God is still working, then the least I can do is continue waiting.
Amen.
The least I can do. There's a song, Courtney loves it. It says, God, if you're not done working, then I'm not done waiting.
Amen.
Because the Bible says somewhere, I believe, that patience is a virtue, and that is not one of the virtues that I have. I'll be honest with you. It's not. You can ask anybody that knows me. I am the least patient person in the world. I hate waiting on things. I hate driving, because then me and Courtney end up in a fuss, because the other night we were going to eat in Chattanooga, and I was weaving in and out on the interstate, naturally. And she says, Jake, we're not in a hurry. And I said, Courtney, we're always in a hurry. Like, you always try to get from A to B as fast as you can. I'm the least patient person in the world, but something that I've learned is that if God is still working in my situation, if God is not done changing my heart, if God is not done fixing what needs to be fixed, then the very least that I can do is wait on Him. The very least I can do is be patient. So just because I want it doesn't mean it's ready for me just yet. And some of us in your breakthrough are wanting it. I can see it, that you need that breakthrough. You've been wanting that breakthrough in your spouse's life, in your kid's life, in your church's life for 10 years. But God is saying, not yet. I'm still working. And how do we respond when God says, not yet? Yeah. Not yet. Because very seldom does He say just straight up no. But a lot of times it's not yet. How do we respond when God says not yet? Can we still raise our hands when God says not yet to that situation? Amen. Can we still be faithful to church when God says not yet for your breakthrough? Can we still keep living our life as an example in our job and in our family when God says not yet? Because that's what He tells Habakkuk in verse 5. I'm going to do something later in your days, but not yet. Just because you're ready for it, just because you want it, doesn't mean that it's ready for you. Takes me to my second point. One of the things that I've learned in having a baby, or getting ready to have a baby, is that there's some preparation that has to be done. We've already started. Courtney's mom graciously bought us a baby bed, and we have it, and we've been putting stuff in the room, and slowly starting to get it ready. We can't paint yet because we don't know what it is yet, but on the next visit, we'll find that out. But we're slowly starting to prepare. Courtney is preparing in different ways than I am preparing. Courtney is preparing by taking hair bows and putting them through her buckle on her pants and stretching them out. I'm preparing by buying Florida Gators clothes. Okay, there's a difference in the way that we're preparing, but we're both preparing for the baby. We're both getting ready for the baby. And some of you guys are wanting a breakthrough, but you've done nothing to prepare for the breakthrough to come in your life. Some of you have been wanting a breakthrough for 20 years. You've been wanting it, but you've done nothing to prepare. So in the Bible, in verse 2, chapter 2, verse 2, the Lord tells him what he's got to do to prepare. He says, write down the revelation. The revelation is what He told him there back in chapter 1. I'm going to do something in your days. He says, write down the revelation. Make it plain on the tablets. That's like stone tablets, not iPads. Make it plain on the tablets so that a herald may run with it. He says, hey, I told you what I'm going to do. I told you about your breakthrough that's coming. Now here's your job. Write it down. Share it with everybody. Tell the people about it. And how many of you know that it's risky to start telling people about what God's done before He even does it? Because you risk the chance of looking kind of crazy. Just like Noah, when Noah walks around, he's telling people, hey, God says it's going to rain. And they're like, Noah, what are you talking talking about? It's never rained before. And he says, just wait, there's going to be a flood. And they're thinking, Noah, you're crazy. You're crazy. But Noah was preparing for something that God had not yet done. And some of us have been loosely just wanting breakthroughs to happen, but we have done nothing to prepare. We want our spouse to come to church, but we couldn't tell you the last time we actually invited them or prayed for them. We want our kids to come to church and get closer to God, but we don't read the Bible with them at home. Where we're praying for breakthroughs and we're hoping for breakthroughs that we're not preparing for. It would be silly for me to hope to just wake up tomorrow and look as jacked as CJ and Dad do. Okay? It would be nuts for me unless I went to the gym and stayed there for like 87 hours a day and did bench press over and over and over again, because I have to prepare for that to happen in my life. I have to prepare. In the same way, you have to prepare for your breakthrough. Say, I have to fall asleep. Prepare for my breakthrough. You have to prepare for your breakthrough. There is work to be done before the breakthrough gets here. Some of you are just sitting here in church on Sundays and waiting for God to like sprinkle down His breakthroughs, and hopefully you can catch me. Almost like snowflakes falling in the sky, and you like stick your tongue out, hoping, oh, maybe I'll catch a breakthrough this Sunday. Maybe I'll catch one, but you're not doing anything to prepare. How do I know? You guys are just like loosely, me as well, just hoping that God pours His breakthrough on me and I'm able to catch it with my tongue like a snowflake. How do I know? How do I know that's the way that we live? Here's why. It's because when your neighbor gets a breakthrough, your first thought is jealousy, not joy. When your neighbor gets a breakthrough, you don't say, God, thank you for stepping up in their life. You say, God, why didn't you do it in mine? And that's the thing that we struggle with, because what you don't understand is they might have been prepared for their breakthrough where you're just hoping for yours. They might have been praying and fasting for their breakthrough while you're just saying, God, if you got some spare time and you don't have anything else to do, I guess you could bless my family again. You know, and you're like, God, come on. You know, there's something to be done here. There's work to be done. You've got to prepare for your breakthrough. You cannot get jealous when your neighbor gets his breakthrough and you don't. Right. Our first thought when the person beside me gets their prayer answered is, I should raise my hands for them. I should be happy for them. I should be filled with joy for them, instead of saying, God, why did you do it in their life and not in mine? Right. God, why did you answer their prayer and you won't answer mine? And that's what we do, because we're not preparing for our breakthrough. We're just hoping. We're just saying, God, if you've got nothing better to do, if you've got, you know, I know that you're kind of busy, but if you can find a couple spare minutes, I wouldn't mind if you would answer this prayer. And God's like, hey, you're putting me to sleep with your request. You know, have some urgency about it, you know. Well, I want you to prepare for your breakthrough. Habakkuk had some stuff that he had to do before God was going to do what he was going to do. God told him, write it down. Share it with the people. Tell them all about what I'm going to do. Tell them, just like it says back in chapter 1, verse 5, that I'm going to do something that you wouldn't believe even if I were to tell you. Share that news. Go spread the gospel. Go talk to your coworkers about Jesus. Talk to your teammates about Jesus. Talk to your classmates about Jesus. Talk to your spouse about Jesus. Prepare for your breakthrough. Just because you want it doesn't mean that it's ready for you. And if you're not preparing for your breakthrough, you can't expect for your breakthrough to come. Or what's going to happen is when it does come, you're not ready and then you missed it. What's going to happen is God's finally going to answer that prayer. God's finally going to move on this situation and you're not ready yet. And bam, just like that, you missed it. You missed your chance. You've got to prepare for your breakthrough. Your breakthrough is in the womb. It's coming. Amen. It's on the way. God is not letting you go. You are not barren. There is breakthrough in the womb, but you've got to do some preparation before it gets here. Courtney yesterday created a baby registry, and I was like, Courtney, it's a little bit premature, but she said, I'm super excited, so I'm going to do it. And she said that for every single item, this is like clearly first parents thing, for every single item on the registry, she read every review on it. And she said if there was one bad review, she took it off the list. That's what she said. And I was like, Courtney, like, calm down. Like, some people just brought bad reviews to be funny. You know, like, it's not that serious. But that's what she did. Because we are preparing for the baby that we know is in the womb, that is growing, that is getting stronger, that is getting bigger, that is getting fingerprints and able to sustain life on its own. And so we're starting to prepare. And in the same way, God is saying, you've got to prepare for your breakthrough. We're praying for God to increase our church's size, but we haven't done anything to prepare for it. When's the last time you invited somebody? We're praying for God to grow our worship and make it better, but when's the last time you prayed for these guys on any other day of the week besides Sunday when Barry does it for you? We're praying for God to move and for souls to be saved. When's the last time you came here on a Tuesday night and said, God, save souls?
Amen.
We're praying, we're saying, God, we want these things to happen, but we're not putting the work in to make them happen. And then we wonder, oh God, why are our services dead? Maybe it's not the service that's dead. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not the music that's dead. Maybe it's your spiritual life.
There you go.
Yesterday we got back from a baseball game in which we got pounded, 12-2. And we got back to Cleveland Middle School, and we pull in, and there is a crow circling our baseball field. And Coach Connolly said, I think something's dead on the field. I said, yeah, it's our team. That's what it is. You know, and in the same way, we like to blame everything else. The music was bad. Barry preaches too long. I can't understand his sermon. I got blah, 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 blah. Instead of just you putting in the effort, because God is God, with no songs, with no preaching, with no music. We should be able to walk in and raise our hands because He is good.
Amen.
But we come here and we say, the service was bad, or I just didn't really get it today, or I don't like that song, or I don't like this. And we talk about the church being dead, but maybe it's not the church, maybe it's us.
Come on.
Maybe because we're wanting these things to happen, we're wanting growth to happen, but we're not doing anything to prepare for when that growth happens. We're not doing anything to prepare for growth spiritually in our marriages, in our families, in our schools, on our teams, and then we wonder why it doesn't happen in our church. Because you're not doing it anywhere else. You can't just flip the switch on Sunday mornings as much as we try sometimes. I know how we try. You know, we've had a horrible week. Sunday morning comes and we're like, hallelujah, I'm so thrilled to be at church. When your week has been a living nightmare. And we try to flip the switch, and God is saying it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. If you're broken, come get put back together. You don't have to fake it. This should be the one place that we shouldn't have to fake it. But it's the place that we fake it the most, if we're probably being honest.
Amen.
This should be the one place that if you're broken, you come right here and you know that you can meet a person that can put you back together. You know that you can meet the person that can heal you, save you, set you free. But we fake it because we don't want to admit that we haven't been preparing for the breakthrough. We don't want to admit that we haven't been getting ready for the breakthrough. God told Habakkuk, it's coming. It's coming. I'm going to do something in your day that even if I were to tell you right now, you wouldn't believe it. It's going to be so great. Prepare for it. Prepare for your breakthrough. And then my third and final point, is I feel like somebody needs to hear today that your breakthrough has a due date. Your breakthrough has a due date. Just like our baby has a due date on September 29th, at some point, it's reached its full time in the womb, and it's time for it to come out. And I just wanted to encourage somebody today that your breakthrough has a due date. It's not out and forever late. It's not never going to happen. It's in the womb. It's growing. God is working you. God is molding you. And when it's ready, He's going to pour it out. When it's ready, He's going to pour it out. Verse 3 in chapter 2 says, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end, and it will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come, and it will not delay. There comes a point in the pregnancy when the baby has done everything it can do in the womb. The mother has done everything she can do, and it's time for the baby to come out. The due date has arrived. It's time for the baby to enter into our lives. And in the same way, I just want to encourage somebody today. Somebody needs to hear that your breakthrough has a due date. God is not going to delay forever. God is not going to deny forever. It has a due date. Right now it's in the womb. Right now it's growing. Right now God's growing you. And things are changing and it's forming and it's getting stronger. And God is getting ready to pour His breakthrough out on you. He tells Habakkuk all the way back in chapter 1, I'm going to do something in your days. I'm going to do something amazing. But then in chapter 2, it awaits an appointed time. Though it lingers, wait for it. Verse 3, though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come. I just want to encourage somebody today as the worship team gets ready to come back up. I just wanted to encourage somebody by telling you this, that your trial is not going to last forever. That situation that you've been going through is not going to last forever. There is a due date on God's breakthrough in your life. There is a due date on what He's planning to do for you. There is an expiration date for your trial. There's an end that is coming. The Bible tells us, we talked about it in Sunday school this morning, Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good. And how many of you, if you're being honest, it's easy to grow weary in doing good? God, I'm doing the right things. I'm reading. I'm praying. I'm sharing your word. And I still can't get an answer to my prayers. I still can't get my kids to come to church. I still can't get my wife to come. I still can't get my husband to come. I still can't get this answer. God, where are you? Just like Habakkuk was saying, God, where are you? Some of us are saying that same thing today, but can I just tell you that your trial doesn't last forever. It has an expiration date. Your breakthrough has a due date. It's coming. It's on the way. Maybe it's just in the womb right now. It's growing. It's getting bigger. It's getting stronger. Your weeping may endure for the night, but the Bible says that joy comes in the morning. There is an expiration date for your trials. There is an end date for that situation, and there is a due date for your breakthrough. It might not be today when you want it. It might not be tomorrow. It might not even be this month, but rest assured and sleep easy knowing that God knows what He's doing. More than I know, more than you know, more than anybody in this place knows, God knows what He's doing. He knows what He's doing. When you can't understand it, when you don't get it, God knows what He's doing. Your breakthrough has a due date. So as we get ready to sing, and you guys stand, maybe you missed that part. You guys stand. Maybe you're here, and if you are being honest, you feel like your breakthrough isn't coming. You feel like it's not happening. I hear the words you're saying, Jake. I hear the scriptures, but you don't know my situation. And you're right, I don't. I don't know what you're going through. Most of you, I don't. But what I do know is the person that's going through it with you. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what keeps you up at night, but what I do know is the person that can provide comfort to you. I don't know your situation, but I do know a Savior. I don't know your trial. I don't know your story. I don't know your background. I don't even know some of your names. But what I do know is that there's a God that knows your name. And there's a God that knows your situation. There's a God that knows your trial. There's a God that knows that you need a breakthrough. And there's a God that knows exactly when to give it to you. That's what I do know. Maybe you're here and you haven't been preparing for your breakthrough. You're just hoping like the snowflakes you're going to stick your tongue out and catch one day and get lucky. Maybe you're here and your breakthrough's just not ready yet. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just not time yet. I just want to tell somebody that your breakthrough is in the womb. It's on the way. Start planning. Just like we're planning for this baby, start planning for your breakthrough. Start preparing. Get ready. It's coming. It has a due date. Keep holding on. Don't give up. God knows what He's doing. God is on the move in your situation. The situation that I don't know about, the situation that the person beside you might not even know about. God knows every detail of. He knows every part of it. And He still looks at you and says, I love you and I want to redeem you. I love you and I want you to come back. I see that you're broken. Let me put you back together. I see that you are down. Let me pick you back up. I see that you're hurting. Let me heal you. That's the kind of God that we serve that says, even though your breakthrough is in the womb, I'm still going to help you out right now. Even though it's not time yet, even even though it's not prepared yet, even though it's not ready yet, I'm still here for you. I'm still here for you. I know your trial. I know your situation, and I want to help you today. That's the kind of God we serve. And so, before they sing, with every eye closed, heads bowed, if you were just being completely honest with just yourself, nobody's looking around, just be completely honest and say, I need something from God today. As I started the service by praying, God, whatever every person needs for you, be that today. Somebody might need some comfort. Somebody might need some healing. Somebody might need salvation. Somebody might need their breakthrough. And whatever it is, He's the God of the one. He leaves the 99 every single time for the one. So without making it too specific, if you would be honest and say you need something from God today. Something from God. Whether it's comfort, healing, salvation, restoration, just a fresh fire. If that's you, just really quick, just lift your hand so I can pray for you. Nobody's looking around. If you need something from God, I see your hands. I see your hands, brother. I see your hands in the back. I see your hands. God, I pray today for every person that lifted their hand. I pray for every single person in this place that didn't lift their hand, God, but that lifted their heart to you today. God, I pray whatever they need. I don't know their needs, God, but I know that you're a person that can meet their needs. I don't know their stories, God, but I know a person that does. I don't know the situations, God, but I know someone who can do whatever's needed to do, God. Somebody that can be a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a comforter, a healer, a savior, a protector, a defender, God, a restorer, whatever it is, God, I pray today that you would be that for these people. God, I pray for the people that raise their hands, God, as we sing this song, that they would understand that you are here today. That they would understand that your power is here today. Your grace is here today. Your mercy is here today. Your strength is here today. God, your restoration is here today. Your fresh fire is here today. God, I pray for those people that they would see that. And as they get ready to sing this song, if you raised your hand, maybe you've been here every Sunday of your life, or maybe this is your first Sunday, can I just encourage you that there will be people that come to pray with you. If nobody else does, I'll come pray with you. There will be somebody to pray with you. There will be somebody to hug on your neck and say, I love you, and so does Jesus. There will be somebody there, and if nobody else is there, can I tell you that God is there? So if you raise your hand as they sing this song, I pray that you would come down here and get whatever it is that you need from God. Whether it's strength, whether it's comfort, whether it's salvation, whatever it is, as they sing this song, my prayer is that you would come get what you need from God. There were hands all over the house. Don't be ashamed of the person beside you. Don't be embarrassed. Don't feel discouraged. Feel encouraged that God loves you. Come and pray today if that's you.
My Savior, Lord, there is none like you.
God is with you. God is all around. And whatever you need, He wants to give to you today. He's not a God that likes to hold things from us. He's a God that pours out. If you need something from God today, ask Him for it. He will be there. He will pour out. Your breakthrough is in the womb. It's on the way. Start preparing for it. Start planning for it. Get ready. God is moving. God is doing something today in your life. Before we go, a couple of things I was supposed to tell you at the beginning, but I forgot. We're in April, on April 20th, we're going to have the Couples Connect will be that night as of now at Mom and Dad's house. If anything changes, we'll let you know there. And we have a men's retreat planned tentatively for the third weekend of May, the 16th and 17th, over to Dunlap. Actually, Barry said he was going to talk with you. Potentially still in the works, but potential there for the middle of May. And the other thing I was supposed to tell you, and this was my own announcement that I forgot, is that the youth are selling Krispy Kreme donuts. So everybody loves Krispy Kreme donuts. Buy loads of them. They go and give them back to me. I'll eat them if nobody else does. Okay, give them back to me. Thank you guys for being here. Let me pray and then let's get out of here today. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for what you did in the service today. God, I thank you for every person that's here. God, and I pray special blessings on them, their families, this church, God. I pray for the people today that came in, God, waiting on their breakthrough. God, I pray today that they would have got some clarity, God, from this story of Habakkuk, God, that you are moving. You are on the move. The breakthrough is coming. It's in the womb. God, be patient and wait on you today. God, I pray for every person as we go out, that they would shine their light, God, at their job, at their school, in their family, in their house, wherever they may go. And God, above everything else, let us give you the glory for everything that happens in our lives, God, because it's yours anyway. We love you, we praise you. In Jesus' name.